Hello guys, it's Zeno, and this is the first video in a new series for Dragon Age Inquisition, focusing on the many builds for each class in the online co-op. To kick things off, we're looking at the Keeper, one of the 3 default classes you get at the beginning of your online journey. The build I'll be showing you will be a full support build focused primarily around the Barrier ability. The main abilities we will be using for this build are Barrier, Energy Barrage, and Fade Step. But before I explain how to use these spells effectively, let's first take a look at your ability tree and how to prioritize the placement of your points as you level the class. The way leveling a character in online co-op works means that you have to be very thoughtful before placing your points, as you cannot respec until you prestige at max level. So for this reason, I'll explain the best route to take. You'll want to start in the protection tree, first picking up the upgrade for Barrier. You'll then want to simply work your way straight all the way to the end of the tree, picking up the Strength of Spirits. At this point, you'll already be pretty effective at keeping your team protected with your Barrier ability, but there are a couple more spells to pick up in this tree before moving forward. Make sure you pick up Night Protector so that your Barrier will last a little longer, and you'll also want to grab Guardian Spirit as a security measure for when you run into serious trouble. There are a couple more spells in this tree you can pick up at the end, but for now we're going to want to move into the next tree, Primal Spirit. From here, we're again going to head all the way to the bottom, picking up the final ability, Energy Barrage. You'll now be using this ability over your default damage spell. No need to upgrade this ability however, instead moving from here to pick up Restorative Veil for improved mana regeneration. You are now free to do as you wish with the remaining points, but I suggest going back into the protection tree and picking up Proud for the all-round stat increase, and Veiled Riposte, which allows you to put out some damage passively as you become focused by enemies. The idea of this build is to focus on keeping your group and yourself barriered as much as possible. With proper technique and timing, you shouldn't have too much of a problem keeping the tank protected at all times, though of course this depends on the group you're running with, and you may have to adjust your technique based on how your team play. Examples of how to use your abilities. If you're running with a standard tank and 2 ranged DPS, you can comfortably sit back, placing your barrier on the tank and DPSing from afar, offering a barrier to yourself and the DPS who should be close to you. If however you're running with a melee DPS or no tank at all, you will have to do things far more aggressively. The best technique for this is to move with the melee and the tank. Barrier all of you together, letting any ranged DPS fend for themselves at a distance. You can use your improved Fade Step to close gaps and get into the range of your party members, as well as chilling any enemies you pass through, allowing you to set up elemental combos. In regard to your rotation, make sure you prioritize your mana for Barrier. If you've taken the talents I've suggested, then you should be able to cast your damage abilities freely whilst regaining mana in 2 ways. First by standing still with Winter Stillness, and secondly by weakening enemies with Restorative Veil. So, cast your Barrier, then throw out an Energy Barrage, and stand still whilst free casting. You should regain mana very quickly, as well as regaining your CD on your Barrier. Manage these mechanics carefully and you should always be in a position to protect yourself and your allies. When it comes to boss encounters, make sure to stay organised and hit as many teammates with your Barrier as possible, and always remember to use your Fade Step to move in and out of combat and close the gaps between you and a vulnerable teammate. That's the build guys. I'll be making a build video for each class in the game before recircling with a new build for the Keeper and so on. If you liked the video, please give it a like, and for all things Dragon Age and more, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Okay guys, take care.